Grab a cup of coffee and start your day with Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life features stories to inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Visit cyacyl.com.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Are you middle-aged or approaching middle age and believe that you're past your prime and that it's all downhill from here? Today's guest, fashion designer Diane Gilman, says it's time to embrace a new way of thinking. Diane has sold more than 7 million pairs of jeans and leggings, making her DG2 brand the Home Shopping Network's #1 selling fashion product. And at the age of 66, Diane is everything she dreamt she'd be. But it wasn't always this way. Like so many women entering the second half of their lives, at the age of 50, Diane was overweight, newly widowed, and struggling with how society defined her. Diane is here today to help us learn how to experience a spiritually, physically, and professionally rewarding Act 2 for our life. She's the author of the book, Good Genes, 10 Simple Truths About Feeling Great, Staying Sexy, and Aging Agelessly. Good morning, Diane. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Diane, as an almost 50-year-old woman, I love your story. I absolutely love it. My chapter 2 began at age 46. So I love everything that you're doing, and you are just my new hero. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. And, I think that because I'm not a true Hollywood celebrity, I can actually be very honest about my age, about how I age, and how I actually was able to turn that Titanic of aging around, fight against ageism, and create a whole new me that I loved a lot more than I liked myself in my 20s, 30s, or 40s.
Diane, I've seen pictures of you, and I wish I looked like that when I was 21. I mean, you are gorgeous. So how do you do it? What is your secret?
Honestly, I think it's just becoming somebody who's very honest with myself, takes a good long look at myself, checks in with my true self constantly, and I've made me my best and favorite project. And so, truthfully, I would say 20 years ago, I looked a good 20 years older and felt a good 20 or 30 years older than I feel today. I learned, I think as we go into middle age, and you might agree with this, nothing is automatic anymore. You're not automatically thin. You're not automatically beautiful. You're not automatically desirable to the male human race. You are constantly bumping up against that great wall of ageism, which tells you that you should go gently into that good night and just sort of fade away. And I just never bought into any of it. But because I had a husband who was sick with cancer and eventually lost that battle, and I wound up in my early 50s alone and sort of adrift and gained 60, 70 pounds, and I finally just looked in the mirror. I tried to avoid it, and I thought, who is this stranger looking back at me? Mm-hmm. Whoever this stranger is, I don't want to know her. But I did have to come to grips with that, and I had to turn a good part of my life around. And I would say that my number one thought was I never bought in to the theory that aging was such a precipitous decline. I thought, no, there must be ways of dealing with this. So, truly, I learned to negotiate aging.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head, because we all hit those roadblocks that you just described, and many people use those roadblocks as an excuse to take to their chair and just wait to retire and die or whatever they're waiting for. But you've made the conscious choice to say, that's not for me, and look at what you've accomplished.
It's amazing. If I had given up and I had said, well, come on, let's take a look at society today. I'm in a youth-obsessed industry, two of them actually, not only fashion but television. And there's no way that the pinnacle of my career, that the peak of my image, that the joys that I've experienced in life are going to be heightened and multiplied in my 60s Unheard of.
Now, Diane,
Totally.
let's talk a little bit about your early years. You were the fashion it girl. I mean, you lived that life of the Studio 54 and the celebrities. What during that time period, if anything, prepared you for what you're doing now?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, that was a youth obsessed. That was also completely youth obsessed. And that really and truly was about pushing your body to the limits. I mean, you were out every night dancing until 4 a.m. I'd go home. I'd get 1 hour of sleep, take a shower, and be at work at 8 a.m. Do the same thing the next night and the next night. So nothing. I don't think there is anything that can prepare you for the changes you're going to go through physically, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, as you start to make your way into middle age. I think there's absolutely nothing. No one prepares you for this. Oh, yeah, excuse me. My mother told me life was over for a female at 30. There was my total
30.
preparation.
I would kill to be 30. But Diane, you mentioned that you lost your husband to cancer, and that was at middle age 50, and there are so many people, I was going to say women, but there are so many people that are finding themselves alone, whether through death or divorce. And how did that experience prepare you? How did that catapult you onto your new journey?
It only catapulted me onto my new journey from this point of view. I was not the merry widow type that was going to go out and find somebody else immediately. I really felt I lost the love of my life and the companion of a lifetime. And I went into a very deep depression. I went into a real dark cave, and I honestly made carbohydrates my boyfriend, my social life, everything, and I ate my way up 60 pounds. And then I really never wanted even a full-length mirror in my house. You know, I would appear on TV, but I didn't even want to look in that TV monitor. And then finally, a doctor turned around and said, I hope you understand the self-destructive path you're on. And even if you don't care and you want to go on eating, I want to tell you what's going to happen. Overweight is going to kill your joints. You're going to have diabetes. It's going to blah, blah, blah. And I already noticed a lot of changes in my body beyond the weight and horrible back pain and all kinds of things that I didn't like. So I sat down and thought to myself, you know, my whole family lives to be 98 or 100. Do I really want another 50 years of this? And the answer was a resounding no. And then the question that formed in my mind was, okay, what are you going to do about it? So I sat down and I made a list. Now, I'm not really a list maker, but I had to somehow put my mind in order. And I listed, what do you like about your life right now? Trust me, that was a short list. Then I listed, what don't you like about your life? There's a lot there. And then I thought, one more list. What can you do about it? And when I put it all on paper, which I really encourage women to do in my book, I realized that a lot of what I didn't like, a diminished social life, a lack of male attention or companionship, all of that came right back to being 60, 70 pounds overweight. Mm-hmm. So I decided that the I don't like myself list was so overwhelming, it was better to just really attack one thing that I felt was foundational and pivotal. So I set about losing that weight. And when I did, so many things in my life fell into place. But I will say it again, I don't think there's anything that will ever prepare you for middle age. But the book does show you that so many of those downhill trends that you think are inevitable are in fact negotiable. And maybe most importantly of all, came to see aging as a condition, the way you would see diabetes or high cholesterol as a condition that you could contain and slow down and deal with and work with and live with. And that has truly been phenomenal for me. And it can be, honestly, for anybody.
So, Diane, you were becoming mentally ready to embark on this new life. And when you went out with your company and your new product line, you were basically told that it's all over for you. You know, this is for the young kids. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be looking forward to retirement. How did you combat that? You're ready, but the world isn't ready. How did you fight that?
You know, the amazing thing was that when I had the idea, when I designed the first EG2 gene for myself with a new middle-aged body, and I read up biologically everything is females that happens to us as we age, I trotted that idea around to every major gene maker in the fashion industry, and here is the conclusion. One of the executives, male executives, said, "Who would want an oversized gene for fat old chicks?" That kind of summed it all up, and I thought, yeah. I would. I'm a fat, oversized old chick. I want a gene, and I designed it. I wore it. It changed my life, and I thought it could change millions of women's lives. So, as I started to embark into my 60s, and they became the best years of my life, I thought again, just like the gene, if this could happen to me, if I could reverse the whole attitude and trend of aging and basically ignore the entire attitude of ageism in our society, and I could get enough women on board with that, we could turn the whole view of aging as females around to something so much more positive, so much more fulfilling, so much more beautiful and touching, because everything in life now, knowing that time is so precious, is just more piquant. I'm so much more grateful for my successes. I'm so much happier within my own joy, and I say it again, I just wanted to share that and be able to see as many women as I could who find aging difficult, which I think is all of us, actually be able to turn it around and use it as an advantage the way I have.
And Diane, with those words, we're going to take a break for this week's Good Life Tips. Stay with us for information to help you make the positive life changes that we talk about on the show. When we return, I'll continue my discussion with Diane Gilman. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Our guest today is Diane Gilman, author of the book, Good Genes, 10 Simple Truths About Feeling Great, Staying Sexy, and Aging Agelessly. Diane, in our remaining moments, I'd like to talk to you about your secrets to feeling great and aging well. What are the things that you've learned, and what are the secrets that you'd like to share with us?
I think the biggest secret is that if you stop thinking of yourself as a certain age and you stop fearing it, so will everybody around you. I wear my jeans. I love them. I love them tight. I love them sexy. And I'll see younger women and younger men checking me out and trying to figure out, how old is she? And then they kind of just give up and decide, yeah, I like the way she looks. I like the message she has. I like her energy level. So my advice is don't lock yourself in that physical age box. I feel like 30 on the inside. I'm in my mid-60s on the outside, and somehow I've been able to take that mind-body connection and bring those two elements and ages closer together. But I never use age as an excuse. It's never, I'm 67, I can't do that, or I never talk about chronological age. I talk about my spirit and keeping your spirit continually young. And if you stop thinking and putting yourself in an age box, trust me, everybody around you will stop as well, and you'll find people treating you as a more energetic, younger spirit, as more contemporary, as more relevant. And you know something? It is completely your blank canvas to paint your picture on. That is truly the essence of the book.
Diane, what about your physical routine? What do you do daily to maintain your weight? And is exercise a big part of your life?
Oh, huge. It's tough for me because at this point I travel internationally to Canada, Toronto, to Europe, to the UK, London, and Milan, and very soon Madrid. And shortly after that, it'll start being Shanghai as well to do tele-retailing. So I had to work out a routine that could work in hotel rooms, but I always make sure I do an hour of exercise a day. Not high impact anymore. I really worked out a routine where it's very age appropriate, but it still gets into bending and stretching and getting oxygen and blood flow into all those areas that as we tend to couch potato a little more as the years come on, those areas don't get that kind of exercise. I think that's very healthy. I also went in for a personalized vitamin regime from a specialized doctor for anti-aging, and I'm religious with taking those vitamins as well because I know as we age, even eating right, you don't get all the nutrients you need. Your body doesn't absorb them anymore. And the other thing I do, which is a huge discipline for me, because I'm somebody that could go all day without eating, but I'm a night eater, I shifted all of that to make sure that if I'm not going out socially, I do not eat a meal past 4 o'clock in the afternoon, knowing that if you don't eat after 4, literally whatever you eat during the day, you can burn off those calories and at least maintain your weight. So weight, obviously, when you read the book, you'll see that's a huge issue for me. When I gained that 60, 70 pounds in middle age, I really watched that because I'll tell you what, having to lose that weight, it's a lot easier to gain weight than it is to lose it. That's when I don't want to
amen.
go through again.
The book is Good Genes, 10 Simple Truths About Feeling Great, Staying Sexy, and Aging Agelessly by Diane Gilman. Diane, if our listeners would like more information about you and your work, where can they go?
The best thing to do is definitely, if you want to dialogue with me, please go to Facebook page. But I think you might want to go to hsn.com, dial in Diane Gilman, and you'll come to a huge web presence at HSN. And I think you might want to read reviews on the book from women who have read it and how they've begun to implement the changes in your life and mind that the book suggests. And very encouraging, really a privilege to get all perfect reviews. And hopefully you'll also love my genes.
Or as always, our listeners can visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on our site, read the digital magazine, listen to past shows as podcasts, take part in our book club, sign up for the mailing list, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Diane, in about 30 seconds or less, what would be your advice to someone who really wants to begin a new business or follow a dream in midlife? What would you say to that person?
Don't buy in to ageism. Just ignore it and know that you can peak in any decade of your life. And I'm just going to give these very brief examples. Coco Chanel, do you know that she didn't design the Chanel suit until she was 72 years old? Colonel Sanders didn't invent Kentucky Colonel Fried Chicken until he was 69 years old. Mary Kay started a cosmetic dynasty when she was well into, I think she was in her late 50s, early 60s. So just follow your dream, believe in yourself, and remain open and eager and ready for opportunity.
Diane, thank you so much for joining us today. As I said in the beginning, you are my new hero. I will be 50 shortly. What I'm doing right now, began at age 46. This is the second half of my life. So you're a wonderful example that as we get older, it's time to refire and not retire. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. My privilege and my pleasure.
This is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.